So welcome to the last day of the challenge. So it is the 31st. We've done a whole 31 days of yoga. So it's been really quite good for myself, quite eye-opening, I think, in areas that I lack within my own practice. So just talking with the others, we're going to do everything. So we'll do a little bit of a warm-up. We'll go through all our sun salutations. We'll work into our core. We'll work into balance. We'll work into maybe a bit of inversions, and then maybe coming down and doing more of like a yin-y type of stretch towards the end. So we incorporate just everything that we've done. As always, take breaks, listen to your body, use your props, and anytime it's not feeling good, change it. That's the biggest thing. So we're going to roll all the way down onto our backs. And I want you to bend the knees, interlace the fingers behind the head and take the hands behind you, and just take a moment to just settle for a moment. Noticing how the arms open, you can feel a good stretch maybe across the chest. Noticing the rise and the fall of your breath. Or almost noticing any areas that need a little extra care. Any areas of tightness and tension, that is. So areas that you may need to just take care of as we're moving through our flow. And it's a perfect time to set our intention, our goal, or even dedicate our practice to anyone or anything. Keeping those legs nice and wide, we'll start to windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. As the legs go one way, the head goes the other. So just moving between a twist and a rotation. Good. And then gently come back to neutral, hugging your knees in toward your chest, lifting your nose up towards your knees on the inhale and the exhale to come down. We'll do this a few more times. So lifting up on the inhale, exhale down. Again, squeeze and lift and down. One more, squeeze and hold. Keep a hold of the right leg, let your left leg go, let the head come down to rest. A little roll in your ankle. And in the opposite direction. And then we'll start to stir the legs, so stirring in the knee, big circles. Good, and change the direction. Lovely. Open the knee out to the right, give it a little wiggle in an external rotation. Bringing the leg back to neutral, but the left hand is going to grab the ankle or the foot as you open the knee and have a cradle of your leg. You can have a little squeeze in. Nice. Let go of the foot, take the leg up and over to the left side, opening out your right arm for a twist. Go easy. It might be a little too soon. Lovely. And gently come on back. Take the hand behind the leg, interlace the fingers, just stretch the leg up. It doesn't have to be dead straight, but just having a little straighten and release. Again, a bend and straighten. You can flex the foot, you can point the foot. Lovely. And keep the leg extended. Give that hamstring a rub, the back of the knee. And then keeping a hold of the back of the leg, little circles with the heel or the toe, depending on what you're doing here. Changing the direction. Lovely. And slowly bending the knee. Draw the left knee into the chest. Let the right leg go. Good. And start to circle your ankle. Changing the direction. Taking the leg out to the side, have a little wiggle. And then when you're ready for the big stir, start to stir it around. Changing your direction. Good. Right hand grabs a hold of the ankle, you open out the knee and you have a little cradle. Drawing the knee back in, taking it up and over to the right side, opening out your left arm. Lovely, gently drawing it back. Interlace the fingers behind the leg, just give the leg a little bend and straighten here. Good, and when you feel ready for the circles, giving it some little circles, you can rub the back of the leg at the same time. Don't forget to go in the other direction. Good, and then we bend your knee back into the chest. Lovely. Place both feet back down on the mat, but knees over your ankles, feet facing forward. Just working your pelvis, the arms are next to you. Squeeze the glutes, curl and roll, and just lift the hips an inch. And then curling and releasing the pelvis in the opposite direction. So anterior, posterior pelvic tilts. Working in towards your pelvis. Awakening your glutes as well as you fire them up to curl them up and down. So very small. Good. Lovely. Beautiful. I want you to roll onto your left side. Keep rolling onto your bellies, bringing your hands underneath you. Straighten your legs, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, lift your nose, chin, chest. Exhale, roll it down. Very easy. Very nice and easy, squeezing on up and releasing on down. Take the arms a little wider and maybe lift up towards the right, rolling down, circling the head up towards the left. So our undulating cobra, just moving between two, awakening the spine, front chain of your body. Nice, and coming on down. Your right arm is going to move out towards your side, so out towards, like creating a capital T, palm down. Your left arm is underneath you. Roll onto your right side. the head stays on the floor, and you can lift the top leg up and over, but you don't have to. You can stay even with the legs bent. Lovely. Gently coming on back. And we'll move to the other side. So left arm, changing your head, rolling onto your side. Good. Gently coming on back. Nice. Gently pushing up in towards your tabletop. Stacking shoulders over wrist, hips over knees, knees hip distance apart. Tuck your toes. My favourite movement, move into everything and anything. Just being creative and having that intuitive flow. Firing up your feet as always. And maybe incorporating a scooping cat and cow. But you don't have to, you can just keep moving. Good. And then meet me back in a stationary tabletop, release the toes. Right knee comes up towards your nose, inhale. Exhale, opens out to the side, circling it back, down and round. Good. Knee into nose, rounding in, opening out to fire hydrant, up, back and round. So not just our hip cranks, they're almost moving in sections. So forward, out to the side, up, back and round. Again, knee to nose, out to the side, up, back and round. Change the direction, so it's going out to the side for a hold. Draw it all the way into knee to nose, and then taking it up and back. Good. Out to the side, bringing it round. Good. Again, one more. Lovely. Shoot that foot back, stretch through the calf, give yourself a little ease. This left knee is going to do some work. So is the protraction through your shoulders. So doming through the shoulder blades, pressing into that right foot that's behind you. The left knee comes to your nose, up and comes down. Again, pressing up and down. 4 more. Up and down. 3, 2, last one. Hold. Nice, gently bring it back. Pivot on that left foot, so turning it out as you ground your right foot, raising your right arm up for the side plank. Inhale here. Exhale, thread your needle. Again, inhale to lift. Exhale to thread the needle. Again, lifting up and threading. One more, lift and thread. Good. Slowly bring the right hand down, pivot back on that knee. That right foot is going to lift. Go all the way out to the side. Keep going all the way forwards. Meet me in lunge. And when we get into our lunge, move it out. Get the hips going, the legs straightening. Good. You can move forward and backwards between your half monkey and half split, but it's just awakening. Good. And then slide that foot back to our tabletop. Scoop ourselves forward on the inhale for a cow pose. Exhale, scooping it back for a cat pose. Again, scooping forward. Inhale. And back. Few more. Good. Lovely. And then gently come back to neutral. Left knee towards your nose, out to the side, up, back and round. Knee to nose, out to the side, up, back and round. Again, knee to nose, out to the side, up, back and round. Change the direction, up, out to the side, knee to nose. Again, up, out, knee to nose. 2 more. 1 more. Good, shoot that foot back, stretch through the calf. And then that right knee is going to come up towards your nose. So protract through the shoulders, press into your left foot and lift. And down. Again, press and down. 2 more. Up and down. Again, up, hold, and down. Pivot on to that right knee, grounding your left foot, raising your left arm up for your side plank. Inhaling here, exhale to thread the needle. Again, lift up on the inhale and an exhale. Again, lifting up and threading. 1 more. Up and thread. Good. Gently place the hand down, move back on that knee. That back leg is going to lift up. Go all the way out to the side, bringing it round and forward. Maybe find your bricks, but start to have big circles, getting into the hip, the quad. Change the direction as well. Can always move forward and back. Lovely. And then slide everything back to 4-point kneeling. Tuck your toes, send your sit bones back to the heels and lift up to our downward facing dog. When you get there, walk it out, move it out, pedal it out, sway it out. We can even bend our knees to our turbo dog and back to our down dog. Again, just be creative here. The idea of creating length, stretch. Good. Gently look forwards, walk yourself toward the top of the mat, but take the feet a little wider and turn the toes out. I want you to bend the knees and straighten the legs. Now bricks are super handy here. You can bend and straighten. You can be up a little higher and bend and straighten here. Good, turn the toes in. Heels in, toes in, heels in, and a nice gentle roll up through our body. Nice. So now at the top of our mat, giving ourselves a little shoulder roll, a little shake as we prepare for our sun salutations and a little bit of a move and a flow. So finding Tadasana, the mountain pose that feels comfortable for you. You're going to raise the arms up, palms together, squeeze the glutes, open the heart and find your little back bend. Exhale, deep forward fold to the mat. Step back with your right foot. Send the hips down and low, but look forwards. Step it back to downward facing dog. And then we'll ripple forward to our plank pose. Remember to press up. Lower the knees, arch the back, chest, chin to the floor. Scoop through and up to your cobra, up and back to your downward facing dog. Raising your right leg high, bend the knee and open the hip here. Give yourself a little look underneath an armpits and maybe the right. Bring the hips square, look forward, take that right foot through the gates of the arms. Big step with the back foot to join the front foot, deep forward fold. Raise the arms up, inhale, take a mini back bend. Exhale, deep forward fold. Step back with your left foot. Sink the hips forward and down. Look forwards. Plant your hands, downward facing dog. Nice, find length. Ripple forwards to plank pose. Lower the knees, arch the back, chest, chin. Scoop through and up to cobra. Up and back to downward facing dog. Left leg lifts nice and high. Bend the knee and open the hip here. Maybe look underneath the left armpit. Good, look forward, square the hip. Bring that leg through the gates of the arms, a big step. Good, sink the hips forward and down. Big step with the back foot to join the front foot. Raise the arms, inhale, taking that mini back bend. Exhale, deep forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, step back to plank pose. Shift forward, option to lower your knees. Chaturanga Dandasana, scooping up to your back bend of choice. Up and back to your downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet here. Walk it out. Look forwards. Step, jump, walk it to the top of the mat. Halfway lift when you get there. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, sit low into a chair pose. Inhale, sit a little lower. Exhale, sit a little lower. Inhale, hold. Exhale, deep forward fold, let it go. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Option to lower your knees, shift forwards. Chaturanga. Scooping up to your back bend of choice. Up and back, downward facing dog. Walk it out here. Right leg up to the ceiling. Bring it through the gates of the arms. Ground your back heel. Raise the arms, lift the torso. Inhale, warrior one. Check your foundations. Check your hips. Check everything feels comfortable. Pivot on the back foot. Plant your hands. Step back, plank pose, shift forwards. Chaturanga. Scoop up to your cobra. Up and back, downward facing dog. Left leg through the gates of the arms. Big shift. Plant the back heel. Raise the arms, finding warrior one. Squaring everything forward. Close your ribs. Pivot on that back foot. Ground your hands, step back, plank pose, shift forward, chaturanga. Scoop up to cobra. Up and back, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Good, look forward, step, jump, float your weight forwards. Halfway lift when you get there. Exhale, let it go. Bend your knees, sit low chair pose. Exhale, reach the arms behind you. Belly comes forward. Options to stay here. Options to lift the heels. Imagine you're going down a ski slope. Hold it here. Lower the heels, lower the hands. Shift some weight forwards, maybe slot the knees into the armpits. Look forward, just stay here with me. Don't fly yet. Just take some weight forward. Shift it back. Good. Raise the arms back to chair. Inhale. Exhale, lower it back down. Shift the weight into the backs of the arms, look forwards. Maybe lift one foot off. Gently bring it back. Shift the weight back to the heels. Sit low, chair pose. Again, lower it down. Shift forward, maybe the other leg lifts off. Bring it back in. Sit low, chair pose. Hold it here. Exhale, deep forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, planting it down. Shift the weight forwards, maybe slotting into the back of the arms. Look forwards, options to stay with me and do no more. Options, of course, to shift it a little bit more, protract through the shoulders, maybe have a little bit of a flight. See what happens. Lowering it back down. Take a moment. Wiggle it out. Doesn't have to be a massive fly today. Good, straighten the legs, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step it back, plank pose. Hold it here. Shifting forward, chaturanga. Scoop up to your cobra. Up and back, downward facing dog. Good, right leg through the gates of the arms. Grounding your back heel. Cartwheeling your arms, finding your warrior two. Shift it forward. Forearm to thigh, back arm up and over side angle. Let's reverse our warrior. Nice. Okay, coming into our first little bit of balance. Shift your weight forward, finding your block. Of course, you can stay here with me and go no further, or lift that back leg, finding our half moon. Lifting it up and holding it where you are. Bending the leg, cartwheel back, warrior two. Nice. Pivot on the back leg. Turn it around. Nice. We're going to shift up to our H balance, lifting it straight up. Good. Bring the knees to touch. Holding it here, just like yesterday. Extend the leg back, finding your arabesque pose. Hold it here. Nose dive forward, keep going, find your bricks, find the floor, lift the leg, standing little split, doesn't have to be beautiful. Bring the feet together, pedal it out. Good. Bend your knees, sit low, chair pose, inhale. Exhale, deep forward fold. Slot the knees into the back of the legs, shift forward. Maybe take a little bit of a flight for your crow. Good. Placing it back down, find your chair pose, inhale. Exhale, let it go again. Shift forwards, maybe finding a little bit of crow, maybe even just 1 foot off. Stepping it back to chair pose, inhale. Exhale, let it go, deep forward fold. Step back to plank pose. Shift forward, chaturanga. Scoop up to your cobra. Back up to your downward facing dog. Well done. Left leg through the gates of the arms. Ground your back heel. Cartwheel your arms, finding your warrior two. Check in with your foundation. Make sure you're happy with where you are at. Rib shift forward, forearm to thigh, back arm up and over, side angle. Reverse your warrior when you're ready. Lovely. We're going to take that balance in our half moon, second side. So shifting forwards, moving, maybe having a little lift. You don't have to. Bending into the leg, cartwheeling it back. Good, we're going to pivot. Finding that high lunge, moving up to your H balance, so lifting that leg up. The knees kiss. Extend it back, finding that hamstring for that arabesque. Nose diving all the way forward. I'm so lucky I've got this wall. Lifting up to that standing split. Bring the legs together. Nice, shake that. Take the feet out, a little wider. Sitting the bottom low for your malasana. It can be a moving malasana. It could be a still malasana. Just taking our time. Good. Bringing the feet in. Finding the floor. Maybe using your bricks between the thighs, lifting up towards your boat pose when you're ready. So you'll lower your bottom all the way down. Good. Holding it here. Excellent. Lower that down, straighten your legs. Nice. Excellent. Give everything a shake. Little ease. Bending your right leg, opening it out toward the side, plugging that left leg in, raising up on the inhale. Exhale, reaching forward. So, options to stay with this dynamic stretch, breathing into the pose, or we could soften it, let the foot relax, grab your bricks, and just allow yourself to hang. Taking a moment in external rotation, so maybe getting to your back as well, working in toward the hamstring, but allowing gravity to do its thing. Slowly coming on up. Okay, so I'm sitting long ways, well, short ways at the top of my mat. I'm going to open my hip to the side, opening that leg out. So it's more like a half a straddle. So we're going to tackle the inside of the thigh. This leg, of course, if it's not feeling comfortable, it could be like a 90-degree angle, but we can stay here. Ribs shift forward and we'll get into the side body, but you can allow the arm to hang. It's great to grab the brick and allow yourself to hang here, but don't let the shoulders roll. It's more of a comfortable opening of the side body. Beautiful. Gently coming on up. Just going in the other direction for a moment. And then squaring it back to the top of the mat. Second side, so bending the knee, opening it out, plugging it in. Options to lift it up and have the dynamic stretch, or ease into it softly, more neutralizing, more of the softer yin side. Remember when we were doing our yin, it's more of what goes on in the inside. It's not what it looks like on the outside, because sometimes it's a lot harder in the inside than it is on the outside. Slowly come on up. So remember, you're just going to turn your body, opening the leg out towards the side. So I'm going to turn around and face you. It's the same leg that was straight. You're just going to now go to the side, lift up and over, and again, just allow yourself to hang. Slowly coming on up, just going the other direction. Now we're going to take both legs straight out to the side. Great time to sit on a brick to give you that little bit of a tilt, so we're not going backwards. And if this is not feeling comfortable, you can lie on your back and have your legs out that way, and that always feels quite comfortable. But we're going to itch ourselves forward. So I've got my bricks. I'm almost using them to hold my head, letting myself just be. We definitely fired up our legs today. our core. Lovely. Slowly coming on up, giving yourself a little hug and moving your head from side to side. Down and up. Taking those arms now behind you, puff the chest. Options to stay here. Of course, you can dive forwards. You don't have to. Very nice. Gently shaking out. The other arm comes on the top for a hug. And I like to do nice big circles, like a Sufi roll. Noise in the other direction. And gently coming on up. Good, bring the legs together. Allow yourself to roll all the way down. Hugging your knees in, giving them a little rock. Let's stretch the legs up towards the ceiling, and we have the options just to shake it out here. If you like to go in towards a shoulder stand, you are more than welcome to, but it's not necessary. We can always hang out with me here with the legs up and just shaking them out. And of course, we could take it over to plow pose. And this is my variation of plow pose, especially when my hips aren't as raised. And eventually coming down to our happy baby. Our happy butterfly. And then gently bringing the legs back down wide like we first started, interlacing the fingers and having our windscreen wipe of our legs. So this is a great time to squeeze the glutes, maybe get more of a stretch in that quad. Or is it the time for a twist? What is it that you can get from this pose? And then when you're ready, maybe having a full body stretch. And then finding our comfortable Shavasana. So may that be bending the knees with me just to take the pressure out of the lower back. Hands can be on the body, away from the body, it does not matter. Close down the eyes, give yourself one more little wiggle to ensure that you are completely comfortable. And as we lay here in our Shavasana, I want you to have a little bit of gratitude for yourself, for your body, for what it's done. And if you've done 5 days, 10 days, 31 days, I want you to be so happy and proud of your body, of your ambition to try to get up, to move, to flow, to connect your mind, your body, and your spirit all together. We forget to congratulate ourselves. We forget to feel a little proud We have this inner critic that always tells us we're not good enough, we haven't done enough. We're always pulling ourselves apart. So I want you to think differently. Think of the things you've learned, the things that you've tried, the things that you've discovered that you may need to work on. But the main thing is to be proud. Getting up and moving, even for 5 minutes, is perfect. You're more than welcome to stay as you are. You're welcome to roll to a side with me. And of course, you're more than welcome to come up to a seat. You can draw the hands together. You can bow your heads. Have a little smile and a little bit of warmth wash over you as this body has taken you through this whole challenge and is here for you whenever you need it. And thank you for letting me be your guide this whole time, and I'm hoping that you keep it up. Namaste.